Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Putri Adriani Lestari, and in that occasion, I would like to inform you the issues that develops today. The issue or topic that is currently being developed today is the entrance fee to the Borobudur Temple. This was conveyed by the Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investments, Mr. Luhut Binsar Panjaitan, through his Instagram media page on Sunday, 5 June 2022. He said, "Sambatan in Japanese, which means corporations, is the principle we use to jointly develop the Borobudur Temple concept as an international standard cultural heritage conservation laboratory." During my visit this morning, I again emphasized the synergy between conservation and tourism through the single authority agency mechanism, so that Borobudur is not only one of the 5 super priority tourist destinations, but also a quality tourist destination. I also ensure that the implementations of the principle of the blue, green, and circular economy has begun to be implemented in accordance with President Jokowi's directives. Therefore, starting today, a trial of the use of electric buses as a shuttle buses for tourism facile will be carried out. The shuttle bus route includes Borobudur, Malioboro, and Prambanan. Using electric vehicles and power and new renewable energy, or in RE, I think it will further emphasize Indonesia's commitment to using environmentally friendly energy. We also agree and plan to limit the quotas of tourists who want to go up to Borobudur Temple to 1,200 people per day, with a fee of $100 for foreign tourists and 750,000 rupiah for domestic tourists. Especially for students, we only charge 5,000 rupiah. Meanwhile, entry to temple areas will continue to follow the prevailing prices. This is a hot issue at the moment. The public is divided into pros and cons. The pro team say that the increase in rates was to keep Borobudur Temple awake because there are many unscrupulous people, those who damaged Borobudur Temple. Some say it was deliberately done so that visitors wouldn't overwhelm them. Then the counter team said that with the tariff increase, people are blind to history and tourism has decreased, which has an impact on traders around the Borobudur Temple. Indeed, as for the explanation from the Minister Coordinator for Maritime Affairs and Investments, Mr. Luhut, regarding the tariff for Borobudur Temple, he said that there was a difference in rates between domestic tourists, foreign tourists, foreign nationals, and students. It was stated that for domestic tourists, the tariff was 750 rupiah, and for foreign tourists, it was $1,000 USA. For citizens, for foreigner is $2,005 US, and for adults, and $12 US for children, while for students is only 5,000 rupiah. He also explained that the reason for the increase in the tariff was solely to maintain the preservation of the historical and cultural wealth of the archipelago, so that Borobudur becomes a quality tourist destination. As for all tourists who visit, they must use a tour guide from residents around the Borobudur areas. This is done to open up new job opportunities and foster a sense of belonging to Borobudur. The main director of the Borobudur Prambanan and Ratu Boko Temple Tourist Park, Mr. Edi Setijono, explained that the tariff of 250 if visitors want to climb the top of the Borobudur temple. Meanwhile, to enter the courtyard only, a tariff just 50 rupiah. He explained that the rate increase was to reduce daily visitors. The government set a quota of 1,200 people per day to go up to the temple. Because before the COVID-19 pandemic, there were 10,000 tourists who went up to the top of the temple. Because of this, the Borobudur temple has decreased and eroded, which is thought to be due to an excessive load due to tourist visits. He said that the quota restrictions was intended so that visitors who climbed the Borobudur temple were interested and serious. If the goal is just to take pictures, it's enough in the courtyard of the temple. Then, with limited visitors, it will be easier to make reservations. All tourists must make a special reservations because it is adjusted to a set quotas of 1,200 people, said Eddie. If this rule applies, then to be able to enter and reach the top of the Borobudur temple, you must follow the online reservation procedures. This effort is so that people who come are not too crowded and can be discussed and decided by the presidents next week. Because according to the community, the tariff for local tourists are considered too high, and Mr. Luhut Sais is considering providing special tariff for residents of Central Java Province and Yogyakarta. Mr. Edi also said, "We have not implemented this tariff yet because we have to go through several more stages because it was only decided to become a destination last Saturday. We are now completing the technical SOP which we will coordinate with the Borobudur Conservation Center," he said in Provinsi NBC Indonesia on Monday. Regarding the assessment of this year, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Mr. Sandiaga Uno, responded that he hoped that Borobudur could be more than just a tourist destination, but also become a historic building for the civilizations of the Indonesian people. Mr. Sandiaga Uno also added that Borobudur is a legacy of heritage, cultural preservations, and also from our ancestors. And we must participate to ensure that Borobudur is an environmentally friendly destination. Borobudur is a super priority destination that we are currently preparing in total. What was conveyed by the Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investments yesterday, of course, is a manifestation of the cross-ministerial movement of the central government's institutions, regional government, and stakeholders, said the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Sandiaga Uno, in the weekly press briefing on Monday. This tariff increase plan is supported by archaeologist Mr. Hari Suroto from the National Research and Innovations Agency. He agreed with the plan to increase the tariff so that it could limit the number of visitors because Borobudur is a high-value cultural heritage that must be protected and preserved. Mr. Hari also reminded me of the Lexaus Cave in France, which is UNESCO World Heritage and known as the site with the oldest and best prehistoric art in the world. It was closed in 1963 due to damage caused by tourism. However, according to a member of the Indonesian House of Representatives from the Guerra factions, Prasetyo Hadi, the Borobudur tariff increase is not appropriate. According to him, the increase in Borobudur ticket rates as an effort to maintain sustainability is not appropriate. According to him, there is a more logical way to maintain tourist discipline. If a tourist is found to have violated the law, he or she will be subject to sanction in the form of fines or other social sanctions. Therefore, Mr. Prasetyo Hadi said that this tariff increase will be burden the people and reduce the enthusiasm of tourists to visit. So he asked the government to review the plan to increase the tariff. Then, according to the professor of history at Gajah Mada University, Professor Dr. Sri Margana agreed to limit visit to Borobudur. However, he did not agree with the plan to increase ticket rates for Borobudur. Limiting visits by raising tickets recklessly is also a trick, wanting to protect the object but not wanting to reduce the income, said the man who focuses on history and archaeology. This was quoted from BBC Indonesia's edition 5 June 2022. He provided two solutions. The first was to limit the number of group visitors by making a reservations in advance. The second is to regulate the flow of visitors so that it does not damage. For example, distinguishing tickets for those who want to go up to the temple or just wander around the temple. Not only that, it turns out that the Borobudur Conservation Center was not involved in the plan. Wiwit Kasyati, the head of Conservation Center, said that they did not know the tariff had increased so much. Apart from the 750 tariff plan for local tourists, Wiwit emphasized that his party wanted to leave the concept of mass tourism and target quality tourism. These are the opinions of many figures. My personal opinions about this, that I agree with the reductions in the number of tourists, which also prevents damage to the Borobudur temple. However, for me, such a large rate increase is a very unfortunate thing because it is too big for local tourists. Except that the price includes other things such as transportations or guide to help us understand the history of this temple. But back to the results, I still support if the reason is clear and the income can be used to maintain this historical heritage building, Borobudur Temple. Okay, maybe that's from me. I'm sorry if anything's wrong. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi